Hello and welcome. I did an unboxing of this Galaxy Watch 6 Classic some 10 months ago. So I just thought, Samsung's launching new products tomorrow. So I'll just give you my thoughts on how I found this device and when I've used it. So what you will see is that I already did a review of this compared to the Watch 5 Pro. The one that had a kind of a groove around the edges and didn't have a physical bezel, and you had to kind of move your finger and navigate into the groove. That had a bigger battery compared to this Watch 6 Classic. That also was kind of a different design in terms of how this looked. Like I said, it didn't have a bezel. What you found is that with the Watch 5 Ultra, you could go 3 days or with battery life on normal use. And when I say normal use, is Bluetooth on, GPS on. You do maybe 1 hour, one activity a day worth an hour. And what I found with that is that it was a good device, but it wasn't reliable on activities and GPS connectivity and things like that. So I just thought I'd do a quick look at this Watch 6 Classic. You know that tomorrow Samsung is bringing new devices. If you go on their website now, you'll be able to see all the Flip 6 is out. You'll be able to see that on the watches, there's something they're calling the Watch Ultra. And that's a different design to what we're used to. You will still find, Watch 7 Bluetooth, Watch 7 LTE. Some of those are 40 millimeters, some are 44. You'll still see this design, but on the Ultra, they've really gone a different design. The thing that shocked me when I looked at it was the price, actually. The price of the Ultra is $599, and that's in pounds. And that is almost double what we're used to in terms of the high-end watch from Samsung. So anyway, without any delay, let's just go into this. So when I was saying the Watch Ultra 5 Ultra that came before this could give you 3 days, with this one on the same usage for myself, my average use, I was getting 2 hours and 8 minutes. And if you look in my previous videos, 2 days and 8 hours, 2 days 8 hours, you will see that I predicted it before the watch came out because I knew what the battery size was. So it's less battery on this one, so more charging, a day less. But the good thing about it is in terms of all the other features, it's really reliable. So the things like GPS connectivity, I've done lots of videos. You can check out my channel where I've gone running and compared some of these things. The glare that was coming out of the Watch 5 Ultra, the sapphire display, that's also because the older watch, the Watch 5 Ultra, had a sapphire, had a 1000 nits. I think they doubled it on this Watch 6 Classic. So that's not been an issue for me at all. The one thing I thought was going to be an issue, which turned out to be a no issue actually, was the lag. So I'll show you what I mean. So with this watch, if you're using the bezel to navigate, it takes a second to kind of move. You can kind of see that there's a bit of a lag when you do this. But actually, I don't think that's lag, because when you then use the display and do this, there's no lag whatsoever. It's just responsive, So what I thought was lag wasn't lag. If you remember the old Samsung lag, you remember Tizen when it first came out, there was a lot of lag. But what I'm finding with this is that if you use the bezel, sometimes it actually takes a full second to move to the next screen when you push the bezel like this. It's as if it falls asleep for a minute. So what I tend to use now is I just use the screen and I go on the screen and do it that way. So that way there's no issue. The other thing you notice is that with this watch they changed how you can put the straps. So if I just press this button, I can easily remove this. I press this, I can easily remove this. Now I have left the original strap on there. Like, I said to you that I bought this 10 months ago. I did an unboxing. I decided to leave. I've never changed the strap. I decided to leave it like this. I've immersed this in water when I've been having a bath or I'm washing my car or whatever. No issues whatsoever. what's really happened, and you will notice this, the first thing you will notice with this strap, and I like the way they've constructed it. You might see this and think, hang on, why are you saying you like it? I shall explain. So the first thing that you notice is that it starts to where you kind of put this thing here. So where this connects onto it, you see there starts to be wear there. And then the next thing you're going to observe is that this starts to peel away. But then if you think about the older watches that used to come with a leather strap, and this, to be fair, I tried to look and see what this is made of. I can only tell you what I feel. So this feels more like a fake leather. And then this feels like silicone, plasticky, you know. So it looks like what they've done is kind of put this on there and put this on top. That is a winning formula, actually, because usually when I buy the Samsung watches, I change the bands within 3 months. This is the original. It's not been moved. It's always been there. And what it tends to do is that, you know, the leather ones, they tend to be black and start to tarnish here. This, because it's silicone, plastic, or something like that, it's really, you don't notice it. So that's really good. And on the top, they've decided to put this leather fill, which means that it actually doesn't deteriorate as much as a full leather band. So I think even though you see this has lasted 10 months, that's not bad at all. And I have bought some, you know, I have bought these to replace, found on Amazon. I think it's something like £6 or something silly. But what this doesn't have is it doesn't have these easy to remove buttons. But that's fine, because when you put bands on, you're not taking them on and off daily, so that is fine. So that is that. The other thing I just wanted to mention, you know, the Watch 5 Pro had 40, I think the biggest was probably something like a 44-inch screen. This is 47. So this watch, I think, is a really great watch. And if you're not looking for, and I don't know what Samsung are going to say tomorrow. I mean, it's on the website. If you want to check out their new watches, they're all there. But I think this is a really good watch. And depending on any new features that they bring about, we'll have to see how that comes about. But the other thing I just wanted to mention is the operating system has really come a long way. You know, we came from Tizen, where it was really laggy, terrible, everything else. When we got to the final version of Tizen, I was actually impressed. And I wanted them to continue with Tizen. The apps were optimized, everything was working fine. Then we moved on to Google Wear OS for Samsung. And what that has done is that all the things that used to work with Tizen, all your apps, they stopped working. You had to move over to Google, which is fine. I mean, initially when we got the transfer, we didn't have many apps. But what happened then is that they slowly built up and the apps started coming back, which was really good to see. And then with that, what you saw was that the Google, so we used to use kind of Samsung voice assistant, and then it moved over to Bixby. I like Bixby. I use it here to set reminders and things like that. I can turn off my TV, turn it on, do all sorts of things with Bixby on here. So I like it. And the one advantage, and I've talked about this in my previous videos, and I've shown it to you. When you go into the battery usage, you will see that if you use Google Assistant instead, which is there, you can use it, you can access it. If you use Google Assistant, it drains your battery. You only need to use it once, and you will see that when you go to your log for your battery usage, it would be at the top. It would consume something like 7% of your battery from not doing anything, just running in the background. So that needs to be fixed. I don't really like that. So I don't tend to use Google Assistant on here. Even if you use it once and leave it running in the background, it will do that very same thing. So that's what I wanted to share. I mean, it's not going to be a long video, but this is a really, really good watch, as you can see. I don't think I have found much that is wrong with this. It shines bright in the sunlight. All my activities are tracked, and it does very well in terms of keeping pace and accurate results. Much better than the Watch 5 Pro. And the Watch 5 Pro just felt bulky. I didn't really like the design as well, where you could put the finger you had to kind of use a digital bezel. I prefer this bezel here. I'm still in two minds about getting the new watch because if I was to get a new one, I would go for the high end, which is the Pro. And $599 for a watch, it's got to perform miracles. And I don't want to spoil the. I always watch Samsung Live launch, so I don't want to spoil anything by going to the website and looking. I want to hear it from them, and then I'll look on the website. But I just wanted to share my thoughts and on what this has been like. I've told you about the battery life. I've told you about the sustainability and durability of this. I've told you that it's been underwater many times, no problem whatsoever. What we used to have with phones with the watches that had a physical bezel is that sometimes dust went in between there, and sometimes there was some rubber. There's a water seal that's in there which is black. It used to peel off. I have not had any of that. And the other thing that we used to have is if you turn the bezel like this, it would stick because something's gone wrong underneath. This has given me none of that. And you can see it's not protected. I don't have a screen. I don't have a bezel protector or anything like that. It's just worked. And the thing I like about this as well compared to the Watch 5 Pro is that the RAM was increased. I think it was something like 1.5 to 2. It's not a big jump, but it's enough to make this usable, if you see what I mean, and memory and all of that. So when you think about wanting to upgrade, just think about how durable this thing is. I know Samsung will do some good deals. I've already seen that they're asking you to hand in your old one to get the new one, and they'll give you a good deal. Sometimes it's worth it. And I might consider that because I'm not paying the full $599 for a new watch. But I just thought I would share. So I think that is it. I didn't even mean for the video to be this long, but hope that's helpful. Have a good day.